Here it is, everybody, a new episode of Let There Be Talk. It is episode number 496, coming to you today, Monday, September 30th. Beautiful day out in LA here. Just got back from Chicago. I was out there Friday night with the great Joey Diaz. Oh, shit. That's right. Joey Diaz headlined and sold out the Chicago Theater. 3,500 fucking maniacs. It was incredible. The room was beautiful. This place is historic. And it was an honor to be on the show with Joey. I talked to him last night, and I was saying, I remember 10 years ago when I started comedy, I would see Joey around at some clubs in the Valley. And then here we were 10 years later, and he sold out the fucking Chicago Theater. It rang in my mind on the flight home, like, just stay in the game, keep grinding, keep writing, get on stage every day, and enjoy the ride, because you never know when it's going to fucking take off. And congrats to my brother, Mr. Joey Diaz. And thank you to everybody that came out. We met a lot of people out there in the rain on the side of the venue after the show. It was beautiful. Our friends CBD Lion were there in full effect. CBD Lion, our sponsor. CBD Lion's out from Chicago. That's where they're from. So they were all there in effect, and it was just awesome to see them. And great podcast sponsor. Don't forget, if you do have anxiety, hard time sleeping, maybe got a little bit of a joint ache, or maybe your pet is going crazy, get some CBD Lion. They got the gummies, everything. CBD Lion. I've been using this stuff now for almost 2 months, rubbing the cream, the 900 milligram cream on my neck, and really helping. And I'm blasting the tincture, the 1,000 milligrams. And sometimes I go 500 milligram, just a little day cruise. And sometimes I'll go 5,000 milligram, whatever. Get some CBD in your life if you got some problems sleeping, or, like I said, anxiety or anything. You just want to chill. CBDLion.com. Use the code DEAN. I've been working on a song. I'm trying to get a song together. CBD Lion. It's time for you to be trying. Dumb. CBDLion.com. Use the code DEAN. Great to see those guys out there. And speaking of Chicago, it was a great opportunity to finally get somewhere that I always wanted to go. I always wanted to visit the Horween Leather Tannery factory. And it's out there in Chicago, and I finally got a chance. It was a dream episode for the Handmade edition of this show. And I got to interview Vice President and owner Nick Horween. He gave me a tour of the 5-story factory. They've been in business, I believe, since 1904. Family-owned, 5 generations, making the greatest leather on the planet. And you guys know how I'm addicted to, like, boots and leather jackets and fucking backpacks or whatever is made out of Horween leather. I'm a sucker. I'm like, I gotta have it. And if you're there, like, what the hell? What is Horween leather? This episode is going to be very interesting to you, because it's amazing to think about one family has been locking it down since the early 1900s, hand making and tanning this leather. It was a wild tour. I could not believe what I was seeing there. How much work goes into crafting incredible tanned leather, horsehide and steer hide, Chromex, all the different versions of leather. And you're like, oh, what? Yeah. Listen to this and find out what's happening. Some of the greatest jackets are made from Horween Leather. Great shoes, boots, everything. So it was very cool to meet Nick. And they got a great Instagram page. Horween, I think it's Horween Leather. I forget. Hold on, I'll tell you right now because I got the controls in my fingers. Let's see. I want you guys to follow Horween just so you can kind of see what we're talking about. And I've been posting up photos also over the last few days. Their Instagram is Horween Leather, HORWEEN Leather. And check it out. Right in Chicago, just old school. Let's get into it. Before I do, though, real quick, I will be in Nashville this Saturday night. One show only, Nashville, at the High Watt Rock Club. This Saturday night, Nashville, High Watt Rock Club. Cannot wait for this. Also, a show that just got added. I'm going to be at the Saratoga Mountain Winery. When is that? I got to look real quick. October 18th with Bill Burr. And then some great shows with Joey in November. Going to be at the Detroit Motor City Casino, November 7th. And 8 and 9, I'll be at the Omaha Funny Bone with Joey. And at the end of the year, we're rocking it out in Sacramento and San Francisco. All the tour dates are on DeanDelRey.com. Big love for the brand new Patreoners out there. Lots of Patreon love lately, which is great. I know I've been really working hard on the bonus episodes. We're up to 50 now, which is pretty cool. New Patreoners, Psycho Arts. Beautiful Psycho Arts. Thank you. Bernie Guerrera, loving you. And Archin Leon. Archin Leon bumped up his pledge. So thank you so much. 3 brand new Patreoners there. And thank you all of you for tuning in. Enjoy this Handmade episode. Here it is, Nick Horween. All right, here it is, another episode of Let Me Talk. I'm coming to you from Chicago, and this is going to be a handmade episode. It's been a couple months since I've had one, and I've been waiting to come to this place for a very long time. Introduce yourself.
My name's Nick Horween from Horween Leather Company.
Nick Horween from Horween Leather. People who have listened to this podcast for 8 years know that I love boots, I love jackets, I love belts, wallets, all things Horween Leather. I've always loved it, and I've always loved, specifically in the last 5 years, Shell Cordovan, and with Brian the bootmaker, kind of introduced me to Shell Cordovan. I didn't understand the next level of horsehide, but I always loved horsehide jackets. And to be at this factory today is just unbelievable here in Chicago. How long you been here?
I've worked here full-time for 10 years, but the business has been here since 1905.
1905, in the same address?
This address since 1920.
1920.
Yeah, we had another location just a little bit south of here on Goose Island for 15 years, and there was a little bit of an overlap, and then we consolidated up here 1923.
Who started it? Your great-great-grandfather or something?
Yeah, exactly, and I'm the 5th generation.
5th generation. Were you fighting it?
No, I did something else for a couple of years, but I always knew I wanted to come back. I just wanted to make sure I came to work here when there was a place for me, not just because I had the right last name.
Is there anybody in your family that's not in the leather business?
Not with this last name.
I just walked through the factory, and first of all, let's give a little history of what's going on here for you football heads and basketball people. They make the leather for the NFL footballs and all footballs for Wilson and Nike, right? How long has that actually been a tradition?
The Wilson business goes back to the 40s, so that's a 70-plus year relationship.
Been making the footballs since the 40s.
The leather for, yeah.
Right.
And then Wilson has, and the Wilson is headquartered here, and the balls used to be made in Chicago, but they're now, the the factories in Ohio at this point.
Do you get any kind of Super Bowl tickets or anything?
We don't.
No.
They're such high demand. My dad went the year that the Stones.
In Detroit.
And I think that's right. Yeah.
Yep.
But that's the only offer we've gotten. So it's all right. I mean, we appreciate the business and the relationship so much that we don't need the freebies.
Let's talk a little bit about how this company started. It's your great-great-grandfather, whatever. Was he like a leather guy, or did he stumble into it? How did this all happen?
So he was from the Ukraine or Belarus. It was not totally clear. But when he was 12, his father died, and he was the oldest boy in the family. So he basically became an indentured servant over there to a tanner. And so he started tanning when he was 12. And then he came over here after being in the army for Russia for a while. And he came over in 1893 and attended the Columbian Exposition, which was the big fair that was in Chicago with the Ferris wheel and the first electric use and all that stuff. I hope my facts are right. But it was like a big job fair, too. So he got a job at a tannery at the fair. And he worked his way up from, just a regular floor worker guy to plant superintendent. And then in 1905 decided to go off on his own and start his own place. And in the beginning they were tanning just shell cordovan. So it's just horsehide, specifically the hindquarters of a horse butts.
Yeah, let's talk about real quick what that is. Shell cordovan is the butts of the horse. It's the finest piece of leather, usually used on dress shoes, wallets, stuff that is really high-end shoes, right?
Correct. We use the whole hide. So the hide comes to us, and we separate it into three pieces. You get the front, which is typically for garments and jackets. The strip, which is that middle part, which is used for boots and holsters and belts and small leather goods, and then the shells, which are the butt over the butt of the animal, and we separate those out, and that's a 6-month tannage that we employ to expose the shell because it's actually inside the hide, and then to condition it and add color to it and do everything we need to do. So
he starts that up, and he's making like shell cordovan. And is it just him, or does he have a couple buddies, or is he doing it in a garage? How's it happening?
I can show you some pictures. I mean, he had a small crew. I mean, there were maybe a dozen guys. I mean, it was a different world back then. I mean, you're doing a lot more by hand. But they were making that all for razor strops. So they were sharpening straight razors, and the things that make it good for stropping make it good for shoes. So really abrasion resistant, super tight, water resistant, and then really dense. So when Gillette came along and no one was really using straight razors anymore, the only thing we really did to that leather was add color to it to make it suitable for
So that's
shoes.
all he was making.
That's it.
And then Gillette, what year does Gillette come around? To me, it seems like Gillette's like a 70s company,
Yeah. No, it's early. It's 1908 or 1912. It's early.
That's incredible, man. Gillette's been around that long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the safety razor was the first thing that they made.
So they come around, and then your great-great-grandfather is like, oh, shit, nobody needs these shaving strips anymore. And what does he do? Like, just start finding people that'll buy it for other stuff?
Yeah, so they added color to it. And then, 1920, we bought this building, which had the capability to do chrome tanning, which is also a very old process.
What was this building? Was it a tannery?
It was a tannery before, yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's 1890. So it was Herman Lesher and Sons, which was the predecessor. So he bought this building, and they had the capability to do some other stuff. So that's when we started to develop Chrome XL and all that. But we developed Chrome XL, and the oldest formula that I can find is 1912. So that's not a new leather either, but very, very traditional process there too. But yeah, so we started branching out pretty quickly, 8 years after being.
That's incredible. Like after that short a time, he buys this building, which is massive. It's 5 stories.
Well, it was 3 stories. It didn't quite look like this when we first got it.
Right. But I mean, he has to have like a clientele that's buying stuff. in order to buy a building like this? Was he selling to shoemakers and stuff in just Chicago, or what was going on?
Shoemakers, and then everything was leather at that point, and a lot of stuff was made in the U.S. So it was a completely different world.
Auto interiors, anything like that?
Not really. I mean, what was big for us for a long time was what we call mechanical leather. So back when internal combustion became a thing, all the seals and everything were leather. I mean,
cars?
Gaskets and seals, everything was leather.
Whoa, gaskets used to be leather. I had no idea.
There was no plastic composite alternative.
Or I thought it was just cork.
Maybe in some cases, but cork doesn't have the density that leather does.
Right.
So we did. I mean, I have like customer lists from the 40s where we're selling mechanical leather for half tracks and Sherman tanks and aircraft engines, and so we did a lot of that. And there was a company, we had a dedicated truck that went back and forth to a company that just did that. So that was a big part of our business, and that's basically gone now because it's all composite at this point. Yeah. It's all plastic and rubber.
So he gets rolling, and at what point does he start providing leather for, let's say, Buco in Detroit and Schott and all the leather jacket companies back then?
It was mostly footwear.
It
was sporting goods, and footwear has always been the main part of our business, and it still is. So we're like 80% of our business is footwear and sporting goods, and that's sort of it. The exact percentage sort of slides back and forth, but that's a massive part of what we do, and it's always kind of been that way. We did a lot of business with Florsheim when they were here, and Alden's been a customer for a long, long time. And then on the East Coast, all the shoe factories were on the East Coast, so they used to go there, and there was Dexter and Brown and like all of the guys that have since gone overseas. But everything, they were making everything on the East Coast.
It feels like to me that Horween, a lot of people that I've had on for the Handmade series came to play in the Instagram world. Once Instagram is out there, I mean, you've been around, of course, but I'm saying like the evolve of like hipsters, like, oh, I gotta have Horween shell cordovan, because people are putting up photos of how stuff ages, and people were really starting to get into quality. Like, okay, I want to have the best leather I can get. Do you believe that Instagram really popped off in the last, say, 5-10 years of people knowing who you are outside of the sports world of footballs and all that?
Yeah, we had a core following on the cordovan side for through companies like Alden and especially in Japan. But yeah, I mean, Instagram definitely helped because people sort of where our product is strongest is how it ages and how it looks when you wear it. So I mean, it's you can't always see that everywhere. So Instagram helped with that. What helped a lot with us too was in 2008 when the economy wasn't so sharp. People were doing a lot of research on what they were buying because they were buying fewer, nicer things. So they kind of, they were saying, at least my interpretation was they were saying, if I'm going to buy something, I want to know what I'm buying and I want it to be nice and last. So that led people to us just by the nature of how we have always kind of done things. So that helped a lot. And then, forums and people were talking and then Instagram.
I think the Japanese market really is the people who expose the great stuff to me. Going to shows and people going, oh, this is Horween, and you're like, well, what's Horween? And then you get the history of it, and you're like at Inspirations, that clothing show in LA that Rin Tanaka puts on. Then you're going like, oh shit, that's why this looks so good, and this over here is kind of garbagey, because there is garbagey leather, and then there's this next level leather. And a perfect example is you just showed me the Aero horsehide, and I had an Aero jacket. I sold it because I lost weight, but it was the finest horsehide that I've ever owned. And now that I know that you provide it, I'm like, oh, okay, I know where I can get that. The Japanese or really obsessed with great quality stuff, do they come here and talk to you? Because we did talk. They go to, what's it called? Shinky?
Real McCoys.
Real McCoys, yeah. But also other people. Mm-hmm. But do other Japanese companies come to you for Horween stuff?
Lots, yeah. Yeah, we've got that's one of our better markets. The way the business is done over there, it's all done through distributors. So we have 3 main distributors that we sell to, and then they sort of sell off to the factories that are over there. But yeah, I mean they have a very keen eye and definitely an appreciation for quality. So we've that helped, since we do what we do and are stubborn about changing our ways, that helps us over there. And they love the Americana and the story.
They love it. What do you do here?
So it's a family business, so everything.
I met your dad. He's cool.
Yeah,
he's got the same backpack as me.
Yeah, he's my dad's great. So yeah, so I'm lucky that we get along really well. We have very different personalities, but we get along really well. So it's great to work with him every day.
He seemed like a great dude. He was just like, "Hey, how are you?" Like a Chicago dude.
He can talk to anybody for a long time about just what I think. Yeah. He's an amazing guy. So he's the captain, so he's steering the ship, which is great. I'm happy for that.
How many years
has he been here?
Yeah,
40.
40. Yeah, 40 years of leather.
Yeah, he's in.
And then his dad was here.
I mean, my family, you just work until you die. I mean,
that's the Chicago feel, I think.
Yeah, that's that's kind of how it goes. But so I do. I mean, a little everything. Quality control is important. Just managing people in general. All of the Instagram and all that stuff I do, and then a lot of special projects and initial developments for sales. Like if there's someone that needs a little bit of help, or we're making a new product or something, like a one-time run, typically I'll take that because I find it interesting. Like a perfect example would be the last 2 runs of Schott Jackets for 316.
Unbelievable.
We ran those leathers once for them, and I worked with them, and they told me what they wanted, and I tried to give them what they want, and that was I think that's fun.
I think that the Schott limited runs are some of the greatest jackets ever made. Those last 2, unfortunately, they don't fit me. Each time I'm like almost there. I'm like, damn, like I'm between a small and a medium, and I'm just like, shit. But that burgundy one that came out, and then the black one just a few months ago, those 2, what are those? What's the leather on that?
So the burgundy was just a regular, not regular, Chrome XO horsehide.
Yeah. So they made like 100 or something?
Something like that, yeah. And then there was a nice event that they did to launch that jacket. And then the black, which is, I'm not sure it's out yet, but they just posted it. That's a product called Dearborn, which we saw briefly on the tour. But it feels like a deer skin, but it's bigger because it's on a steer hide and it's easier to work with.
Yeah.
So they were adamant about how that jacket was supposed to feel. So it just feels awesome. I mean, it's still a beefy jacket, but it's really soft because we've softened it a lot in a mill for a long time. And I'm excited to see that jacket.
To go to Schott and to come here is just so, to me, so America. It's weird because there's such a great American pride, and then there's this weird American thing going on right now. It's just like, I'm American, but to see this kind of stuff is just so, it's joyful, man. It's like, wow, this is the old world. I just took a tour of this place, and it absolutely made my head explode. And anybody that goes, yeah, that jacket's $1,500, I'd never buy that. Yeah, you need to come see what the fuck these guys do and why it costs that much. We talked about it because you said PETA posted up a sign, they're trying to boycott you. And we're talking about plastics and fake leathers that never disintegrate in the ground. And that's what simulated jackets and pants and boots and shoes are. They just get in the ground and they're there forever. Where these jackets and boots and anything made out of this stuff is going to be passed down forever. As long as, the kid doesn't get $4.90, they can wear something. But I just took the tour. It takes 6 months to do this shell cordovan. And it's like 30 days, and then take it out, then another 30 days, and then dye, and then dry. On all these floors in this factory, it was just insane. And that's just one piece of small leather to make boots. It was crazy, right? Like,
it is crazy.
I mean the process, how many processes are there?
In cordovan?
Yeah.
It depends on how you count. More than 100. I mean, if you're counting about how moving and hanging and taking down and how many times it goes through a machine, yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, no one would set up a factory and then say, I'm going to make you a product and you're going to turn your inventory twice a year. No, no one's just no one's going to go into it and do it that way.
Yeah, they're like, wait, we get checks only twice a year.
Yeah. God. And by the way, you're not going to make your first sale for the first 6 months. I mean, it's no one's going to do it. I mean, you have to be set up to do it. So, I mean, the pipeline's full for us, and it's awesome. It's a huge, it's a huge point of pride for us to be able to make that leather and have people appreciate the way they do. But yeah, I mean, it's the PETA billboard was protesting the leather industry in general, not just us.
Not just you. I don't.
Yeah.
What I try to put like is, whatever your politics are, and if you're vegan and all that, I'm totally happy for you. That's great. But to go after other people, because like we talked about, synthetics are the death of Earth. Synthetics are the death of Earth. And the ocean is proof right now. There's plastic out there. They just found plastic in human shit. That means we're eating. There's eating stuff that has plastic, microfiber, plastic in it. And leather, there's stuff I've seen jackets that are around from the 20s right now. And you want to talk about saving the planet? You got to start by having stuff that lasts forever. These, like, PETA should go after, like, Nike, and stuff like plastics and stuff that's just, people buy a shoe and it's gone in 6 months and that kind of stuff. Because, I know so much, there's stuff in my closet right now I've had 20 years, 30 years.
Right. I mean, I'm with you there. If your choice is your choice, and vegan or not, that's fine. And I'm an animal lover, which is...
So am I.
So it means anytime anyone's breaking the law or mistreating an animal, I mean, they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. I mean, I have no tolerance for that. But yeah, I mean, you're right. The synthetics, I mean, they have a place, and a lot of them, can be nice, but it's they're petroleum based, so they're plastic. They last for a long time. And I'm not to excuse, the leather industry, because it's a heavy industrial process.
Yeah.
And it's our responsibility to manage the process and be ethical about the production and sort of the byproducts of production. And that's not lost on me either. And that's, it's, there are definitely factories of all kinds that do things that they shouldn't do. It's not that we would ever do it, but being in the middle of Chicago, I mean, we're under the microscope, so it's not like we're getting away with anything.
Yeah.
But and not that we ever would, but yeah, we take very seriously the product, how we make the product, but also everything that goes into making the product and everything behind it, including where we source our raw materials, our hides, and how we treat our employees, and it all goes into making a quality product. You can't. One doesn't exist without the other, I guess is what I'm saying.
Where do these hides come from? America, Illinois, all over the world?
Yeah, so there are hides. We sort of rotate a little bit. The only thing we can control is the region. So we buy, it's Midwest, South Central Canada primarily, and then there's a couple different sources that we can use depending on how the product is looking, because we're a full grain tannery, which means we're doing very little to the surface. So we need stuff that has no bug bites, no scratches, no brands, or at least as little as possible. And then the horse hides come from Quebec and from Europe, where the hides are a byproduct of the food industry. Everything that we tan is a byproduct of the food industry, and we do some bison as well.
Now, horsehide went away, it seemed, for like 20 years. Was it illegal or what happened there? Why did it all of a sudden come back? Because I had to get the horsehide first from Arrow. I was like, whoa, they're making horsehide jackets about 15 years ago. I was like, oh, finally. Couldn't ever find one. And then Japan, of course, had them. But what happened there? Do you know?
Well, we were making it all along.
Just people stopped using it? It was too much money? Or
I think in the U.S. it was not. It was a marketing thing. I mean,
right.
People just were not, to most people in the U.S., a horse is a companion animal.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't something that people wanted to buy. So we were still selling it to Arrow and into Europe and Italy in specific, and then into Japan, of course. So we were sort of going along as we always have. It's just I guess the appreciation or what makes horsehide different wasn't important enough to make it a selling point. It was
also maybe the younger generation didn't know what a great horsehide jacket was. I did because I was into vintage Buco jackets and those deep pocket jackets, and they always felt different. They wore different. They broke in different. And compared to, say, the 70s Perfectos and Schotts and all that, and also the 50s Schotts were horsehide too. So when you look at those, they just had a thing to them. And I talked to you about it. It just broke in so much different to me. It felt better. It looked cool. And I did talk to you about this. There was a time where it seemed like jackets just had a coating on them and never were going to break in the 80s. So I always went for an old one, So to me, the fascination with horsehide was always like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely a period of time, and it's cyclical, where people want to buy something that's going to look the same forever. That's not you or me. That's not a conversation. I mean, I want stuff that's going to...
I mean, I would probably name my son Patina.
Right.
You know what I mean? If I could. If I had a kid.
You want it to be yours. I mean, it's important. Yeah, so I mean, there are still people that want to buy something and they don't understand that it's going to change. I mean, that's personal preference, and that's fine. But yeah, horsehide is unique. So what makes it different is, one, thickness, so it's thinner. It's naturally sort of garment weight, so that lends itself to being made into jackets. And then it's more abrasion resistant than cowhide, but not quite as strong. And it's grainier because the hair follicles on a horse are bigger, so it has a different look to it as it breaks in, and even flat on the table.
I got a question for you. There's a guy in New York that makes jackets, and he uses 5-ounce horsehide. It's insane. Is that like hides pressed together? How could you get a 5-ounce horsehide?
You can, but not with any kind of reliability. I mean, we maybe get, I don't know, maybe one load a year where some of them are that thick.
His leather is unbelievable, but I used to think that was the way to go. But you wear these things for like a year and you go, this thing weighs 9 pounds.
And it's not broken in yet.
It would not break in. And he kept going, wait till that breaks in. I go, yeah, when I'm 90, like it would not break in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's too thick for a jacket.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Because you got the seams, so you've got 5 ounce plus 5 ounce plus 5 ounce because they're stacking. Unless he's doing something that I don't know. I mean, that seems like
just say like a deep pocket leather,
Yeah,
I got like one. I loved it, but I just couldn't.
It's like a suit of armor.
Your neck started. My neck's all fucked up. I could never wear something like that now. You know.
I've got some regular thickness jackets, and I get into my car, and it's like pressing on the back of my neck. I'm like, this is. I got to take this off to drive.
Well, I think a lot of the hip clothes about 5 years ago were all designed about thickness. Remember, it'd be like 30-ounce denim, 5-ounce horsehide, a 20-ounce and you get on it, and you're just like a robot. You're walking into the club like, hey, gong, big old boots and shit. Yeah, there was definitely that fad of thickness. I wanted to ask you, I did see the Arrow horsehide down there. Did they come in and work with you on like the tanning process? Because theirs is so different than everybody else's. Did they work with you over the years of what they wanted?
No, it's the same. It's the same product. I mean, they have a couple of different variations, and then they've got their colors, and then they have requirements based on their patterns, and because the jacket patterns are large.
Right.
But the process for us is the same.
So you were always selling that leather, and they happened to just start using it because I don't see other people using that specific Aero leather that you showed me.
We were doing more of the leather that you don't like, which is like the like for like Averex, they had like an orange like base with like a brown, like a pigmented brown top on it in like the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
So we were doing a lot of that, and then a lot of the horse I was going for shoe linings too. So less of it for jackets. So I would say that we always made Chrome Excel, but and my father would probably have a better answer to this than me, but Aero was the first to really use Chrome Excel for jackets in any kind of quantity. So
how long ago did they come in?
Geez, that's another good question for him. 20, 30 years.
Wow, because I remember in the 90s first seeing them.
Yeah,
there was a store in Melrose that was selling these Aero jackets, and I was like, what are these? I was just blown away by the quality of them. And now, of course, people have caught up. Real McCoys are the jackets I wear, and I think they do the finest job as far as like making a vintage jacket in a modern slimness, because those old jackets were square. You put them on, they're short because people wore pants up to their tits. So you had this jacket that looked like what is this thing? If you put it on now, I call them floaters. It's just you see your back where the kidney is and everything.
Yeah, and I don't know how much of that was like it's like an A2 style jacket. So like they were like flight jackets, so they're sitting down. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, their relationship might be older than that. It's before
that's wild.
Me. But yeah, so we're on their second generation. So it's been a long run with them. Yeah, it's good.
Those guys are great. Now let's talk about some of the different grains that you do on the leather. Like the football has pebbled on that, and I saw how you guys had machines that actually can do grain like the bison and all that. But how is that done? It's a machine that just kind of stamps into the football that gives it that that cool pebbly grip.
Yeah, it's an embossing press, so it's a big stamper which has a place to receive a plate, which has the relief of the pattern that we're going for, and then we can control how hot the plate is and how long the machine is closed, and then the amount of force. So depending on the leather and what we're trying to do, and then the plate too, the pattern, we'll make adjustments to those three things. Yeah, we have lots of textures. We've had different Scotch grains and hatch grains and pebble grain for football and alligator, lizard. I mean, that's stuff that we don't really use a lot because that's not really our.
It's kind of cheesy.
Yeah, I mean, it can be. It can
check out this alligator grain on here. Yeah.
We have a Western floral print, which is pretty cool. I like that, but I mean, you're not
like that hand tooled kind of
like
looking
that.
stuff.
Yeah,
I like that stuff.
It's a repeating pattern, so you have to. It doesn't always translate into everything.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's like for a wallet, or like Vibram did some boots out of it. It has its places, but yeah. So the football, we emboss every single side of that because we need that pebble grain in there for grip.
I mean, that's amazing to think that you guys have been supplying the leather to the NFL since the 40s.
Yeah,
I mean, you guys are the football.
We play our part. I mean, we're just a component again.
Yeah, I know, but it's like I went down there and saw it. It's got the embossed little W all through it for the Wilson, and you guys do the basketball too for NBA?
For Spalding, yeah. So that's a tiny business because most of that now is composite. So it's basically just NBA at this point. So it's not. I mean, we love having that business, but I mean, even in college, they're playing with composite. So you don't even play with leather until you get to the NBA.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I remember I had a leather basketball. It was so great. And at one time, it just went into a puddle. So it had this dark spot always on it. But the feel of the leather basketball was so much cooler. It was just slick.
Mm-hmm. It's the opposite of a football where you want to play with a brand new football. Like the basketballs, they practice them for like a year because they don't even bounce straight at first.
Oh, so they don't?
I mean, this has been a conversation. And I hope I'm not I don't want to get in trouble, but we've had a conversation with Spalding where we could make a leather that's a little bit different, that would be a little bit easier, like out of the box. But the NBA players they're at the top, and
they travel most of the time anyway, so they're not bouncing it.
It's a performance product.
Yeah.
You get a football or a basketball into professional athlete, and like they can tell the difference between two basketballs or two footballs. So any kind of change at those top levels is not well tolerated. So I understand why they've shut us down. But the basketballs, they practice with them for a year, and they're basically smooth by the time they get into the game, and they're brown and they're all broken in and they look awesome. But
so they use them a year before they put them into the game?
That's the number I've heard. It could be.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, where a football, they're using new football every X set of downs.
Holy shit! What do they do with those footballs after? Donate them to like kids and like high school?
Yeah, they're promotional
or practice. Yeah,
they give them out or game played balls. But yeah, they've got their own set of stuff that the equipment managers do crazy stuff to those footballs too.
I walked around down there, and all I kept thinking was, I want to get some of this leather and get it to my favorite, makers of stuff like Brian with Boots, and I want to get this leather here over to Real McCoy. Is it? Do you have people around here, or have you ever thought of making stuff yourself? Do you get that bug?
I deal with so many people that do such a good job.
Yeah,
and I feel like I would do there's no way I could measure up. That I definitely walk around. I'm like, I should send that to somebody and like get this made. But
totally,
it's I try to pick my moments because I don't want to be like a total pain in the ass. Because there's so much leather here and so many cool things that you can make. But yeah, I've made a couple things out of leather, and I'm just like, this guy does it so much better. I'm gonna let the pros do it.
I went into a guy's house. I like going to open houses, and I went into a guy's mansion, and the bedroom had leather floor. Have you ever seen that?
I have, yeah.
It was unbelievable because it was all scarred up and everything from the years of walking on it. It wasn't like perfect leather. The feel of it when you walked on it, it was like, this is unbelievable. And immediately I was like, well, I gotta have a leather floor. If I won the lotto, if I won the lottery, that's my mom. But man, leather floor, dude. I mean, how much of that leather would take? It would take so much down there.
Yeah, we should start that. We should start that a trend. I'd love that business. Yeah, I mean, we've done a little bit in like super limited applications of like leather floor tiles. We did some guy like leather paneled his like study, which I never saw, but I heard about it. Which probably
leather paneled a study.
Yeah,
sick.
So instead of wood, it had leather paneling.
Yeah,
it'd be pretty awesome. But yeah, that's take a specific kind of leather. You need something a little tougher than.
Yeah, what do you think? Just some serious steer hide, like thick steer hide.
Yeah, super waxy, dense, like not going to fade unevenly because it's close to the window.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some requirements there.
Yeah. How many employees here? The place is huge.
About 150.
150. Holy smokes. And you said they come in on like Sunday and fire up stuff. There's huge. You guys got to see. I took some pictures, but there's these massive barrels. They look like something you would make wine in, that these guys throw this leather in and treat it with all these different tanning processes, like what was it, tree bark and everything, like these swimming pools, like these crazy things that were 6 feet deep, and there's all skins in there. But they come in on Sundays and just fire it up.
Yeah, so it's a. I mean, we run one shift, but it's like a rolling start. So the earliest guys start 2 a.m. and they're done by noon. So that's what we call like the wet end. So that's what you're talking about. So they're doing the tanning and the retanning so that the guys that dry leather have leather to work on when they come in. And they'll start depending on the time time of year, because it gets pretty hot in here, 6, 7, 8 in the morning. So
no AC in here, right?
What was that?
No AC.
No.
Yeah.
No, whatever it is outside. So they'll come in and then we're working like 9 or 10 hour shifts, and it's a rolling start. And then, on Sunday night or early Monday morning, they're going to come in and start setting everything up for production for the week. And then by Friday afternoon, we're pretty much buttoned up.
What is do you have a guy that's been here for like 50 years and he's just like one of the guys down there, like, oh, this guy's the leather king here? You got any guys like that?
We've got specialists like that, yeah.
That have been here forever?
Yeah, so the couple of the operations, so you were talking about the tanning pits downstairs where all the cordovan is tanned. So the guy that runs, who's in charge of that, in charge of making those liquors, so those blends of extracts and water that we actually use to tan the cordovan, he's been here for, I'd have to look. I think he's our most senior employee at this point. He's 40, I don't want to mess it up, 44, 45 years.
Wow.
And he can put his hand in and smell liquor and be like, we need to change that out.
Really?
So I mean, and we call it cooking because it is really cooking, because you get we get tree barks as crystals and resins and powders, and there's no spec. So it's like, he's making adjustments on the fly. So he's sort of like the liquor yard master. And then on the shaving upstairs, which you saw, where we're exposing the shell, we've got a guy there that's been here for almost 40 years.
Jeez.
So he's, anytime we have a problem or something funky is going on in the cordovan department, and we just go to him, because chances are he's seen it at least once or twice. And then we've got sort of those kind of experiences sort of sprinkled through the building. And then we have a tanner who's our plant superintendent, who's a chemist, so he went to school for tanning, so he understands. He can make adjustments to formulations or help us develop formulations, because I have a functional sort of working understanding of like what's going on, but I couldn't tell you molecularly like what's going on. I mean, that's
you got guys behind these guys in case they retire or anything?
We mean, hopefully.
Yeah.
We're working on it. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, it's really hard to find people that want to do this work anymore.
Yeah.
Because you saw it. It's a hot, wet, humid, hard place to work.
I can't even believe what it was, actually. It really blew my mind. It's like you're in this factory. There's liquids all over the ground and stuff because they're washing and cleaning. There's, fifth floors cooking hot up there. There's heaters and everything. It's definitely a factory, old school vibe.
It's hard work.
It's like, oh, this is the old world in here. To see it is like really cool. There's no computers going gang, 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 gang. There's not a guy behind there going, I just got on the computer and made this a different color or whatever. It's so wild. The dyeing up there, the over and over of dyeing, the process of dyeing the leather 6 times, hang drying it. It takes a certain type of person that can sit in there all day and hear the machines and do something day in and day out, right?
Yes, it's repetitive, but it's still a skill job, which is
still like art though. Yeah. You're creating.
It's a tough combo though to do something over and over again, but still stay engaged, and then also actually want to come and do it every day.
Yeah,
I've done a lot of the jobs here, and I usually try to pick a day, and I'm not nearly as good at them as the guys that actually do them on a daily basis, but I usually try to go pick a day where I can really embarrass myself, where it's like 1,000 degrees. I'm going to go like do one of the really hot processes, and I'm like sweating so much I can't see because I'm not used to it. And that's always hugely entertaining to the guys that do the job and who are like in long sleeves and not sweating at all.
Are they looking at you like, oh, here comes the owner's son?
I mean,
Remember that did you ever see that old movie Car Wash? Hey guys, I want to wash the cars today. That's so funny. It's a 70s movie way before your time.
Yeah, it's I hope it's not quite like that.
Uh-oh, someone got shot out there.
It's Chicago.
Chicago.
No, we're probably all right.
Yeah.
As long as they keep going past this place. But yeah. So I mean, it's a hard. I mean, it's not lost on me how hard these jobs are.
Yeah.
And it's. I like to think that it's a good place to work, and we appreciate people, but I'm sure there'd be people here who would. You'd hear a bunch of different stories, but we've got a pretty good relationships with.
Is it a union
everybody.
or just?
It is union. Yeah.
Union.
Yeah.
Wow. And so great benefits and stuff. Is there money in this job? Like, do they make some good money?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, and then minimum wage in Chicago is 13 now, and it's going to 15.
Wow.
So
$15.
Yep, and then they've changed some stuff, so you get, there's minimum, you get vacation plus, and we're getting into the nitty gritty here. I don't know how interesting this is to people, but you get a handful of paid time off that we can't tell people that they can't take, and it's like an hour notice.
Yeah.
So we've had to sort of to work around that stuff, but yeah, I mean once you're in, I mean you can make some money, especially when we're busy. You get overtime and working Saturdays. I mean, when we're busy, some of the hourly guys make more money than the salaried guys.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So I mean, they're working hard. Yeah. I'm not saying it's an easy job, but
I looked at it. It was not easy.
You can make a decent amount.
What's a piece of shell cordovan go for? One piece.
So it depends on the size. So we have 6 different grades.
Yeah.
And
grades meaning size, or
it's based on size and
quality,
and it's cuttable area is the way we do it. So the quality is the same across every single piece. It's just how much of it is cuttable. So like the smallest, cheapest piece would be under 1 square foot, and the most expensive is over 3 square feet.
So what's the most expensive piece?
If you want just the over 3 foot, I mean, it's $300 plus.
$300.
So you're looking at $100 a foot.
So it takes 2 $300 pieces to make boots.
So that's a difficult question also, because so if you're buying a distribution like someone like Alden, like our big customers do, they're not just getting the big ones. They're getting a mix. So based on or Allen Edmonds or Crockett and Jones or any of our customers. So based on the week's production, everyone gets an equal amount of all the grades, except the small ones. So the footwear guys really don't want the small pieces, so those are watch straps and wallets, and so those get sold to different customers.
I'm just trying to figure it out, because this way it gives people an idea of why boots cost what they do. Like before they're even made, you're looking at what, $300 in leather or $600 in leather
for a custom pair. Yeah. So since a customer like Allen Edmonds is taking distribution, I mean, they'll cut like the vamp, like the part that goes over the top of your foot. That's the biggest part. So they'll use the big ones for that, and then the backstays they'll use the smaller shells. So they're managing their cost more effectively because they're using all the different grades.
Of course.
So it's the rule of thumb I used to be around 20% of the cost of the shoe is leather.
Oh wow.
So
wow. Okay.
It's a serious.
Yeah.
It's a serious bit. But yes, it depends. It depends on the pattern. I mean, we talked about I'm wearing shell cordovan engineers.
Yeah.
Right
Who
now.
made those?
These are Viberg. There's 2 $300 shells in these. So these are.
So $600 just in leather.
Yeah.
Man, how long you had those?
Not that long. They're still killing me.
Yeah, they look pretty now.
They're going to be great. We're actually I'm wear testing these because we're going to do a pre-sale on these.
Oh yeah.
So there'll be some Instagram stuff, and it'll be an interesting project. Just people can keep an eye out, but they are not going to be the most affordable footwear on the market.
Okay, so I want 2 pieces of shell cordovan, pebbled.
Okay.
And then make a pair of boots out of that. Because,
Sure.
like I said, Wolverine had these boots that were pebbled leather, but they didn't fit me. And they're like the ones that got away. I'm always like, God, that they were like a pigskin color. Which, by the way, you told me footballs have never been pigskin. We're not sure why they call them that.
The only thing I can think of, anecdotally, I heard, way back that they used to use a pig's bladder to inflate as like the inflatable part of the ball.
Oh, wow.
So there was like a pig's bladder on the inside. I think that's what
That's
I've heard.
how they pumped them up?
That's all I've heard. That's the closest thing I can come, and I have no way to substantiate that at all.
Did you catch that marlin behind you?
My grandfather did.
Wow. Where did he catch that?
In Cabo San Lucas.
Yeah.
In the 60s.
Cabo's so great. Have you gone?
I went once in August because it was cheap, but because it was a million degrees. But
now you're married. Does your wife work here?
She does not.
She doesn't?
She's a dietitian.
Oh, I know. And do any of you got brothers and sisters?
I have a sister who's here. She's here part of the time. So there's a picture over your shoulder. She's a serious equestrian.
Oh shit,
so
she is.
She's doing.
Does she know
that.
Springsteen's daughter?
She
does that too.
Yeah, she does. They are in the same place at a lot of the same times. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I think that Springsteen's daughter has more of a higher horse budget.
Yeah.
But so she does that. So she's here. That's actually the desk you're at when she's here.
And then your mom?
Nope, that's it. Just the three of us.
Yeah, I'm so glad I got to come here today because it's I've been obsessed, of course, with the leather and this place and just to get to walk through it is just. It's just something else, man. It makes me happy to see handmade goods. So the quality is just incredible. And how many tanneries are left? Are there any in America anymore?
There's it depends on the definition of a tannery, I guess. I would say about a dozen. So like the industry is like, it's
a dozen in America?
Yeah. So the whole industry, maybe 1,500 people.
Whoa! The whole leather industry
in the U.S. Yeah, it's teeny tiny.
Holy smokes!
Everything else went overseas. So, we're a small boutique specialty tannery, for the lack of a better description.
You're not the biggest in America for tanning?
No, we're sort of medium.
Right.
Yeah.
You said something interesting to me. You said, what was it? 80% of the leather goes to China?
The hides, the raw material, yeah.
Unbelievable. 80% of leather hides in the world go to China.
Oh, well, in the U.S. I'm not sure.
US.
I'm not sure what because there's a huge industry
to make all the clothes over there
in South America. Yeah, in footwear and they make a lot of like white athletic shoe leather and black, and then it's like it's a commodity product almost.
Yeah.
And not to say it doesn't have its place in the market because it absolutely does, obviously, but yeah, it's a completely different. They make in a day what we make in a week or two in many cases when they're busy. The industry in general is a little slow right now, and that's just cyclical. It'll come back around. It's sort of like on a 10-year cycle, and we're sort of right in that right now.
You mean leather? Yeah, leather seems to come around like every 10 years. All of a sudden, there's just leather's hot, like jackets. I remember when the Strokes were hot, all of a sudden everybody's wearing leather jackets again. And then there was about 6 years ago, leather seemed to be everywhere again, jackets. But to me, it seems like it's bigger than ever in the boot world. Like boots are hot right now. From what I can see on Instagram and just people, I could put a pair of boots up and get 1,000 likes. It's nutty how much people love leather boots.
Yeah, there's definitely especially on the higher quality end, I would say.
Yeah,
people are really, really diving in. That's all I wear is boots. So
you provide stuff for Wesco?
We've more and more lately.
Yeah,
we've been working
great guys
with them directly, and then there's a couple other. They've been doing some collaborations with some other companies.
I got a pair of Horween horsehide boots from Wesco about 6 months ago, and they're my favorite boots on the planet.
Yeah, they do a nice job.
Just the leather is a lot like that Arrow leather. It actually looks gooey on the upper barrel. I'm like, look at this leather. It's insane, but they're really heavy. They're like a couple bowling balls, and I got a fucked up neck somewhere. I'm like, man, everything seems heavy to me these days.
Yeah. They are heavy. Yeah, it's especially if you go from wearing something like the sneaker to you putting those on.
Yeah.
You have to like fool yourself and put them on in the morning.
Yeah.
You can't like wear sneakers in the morning and then put those on.
Oh, you're fucked.
Because then you're gonna take them off and put your sneakers on.
Yeah.
But yeah, once they're broken in, they're awesome.
You're a watch guy.
A little. I I know what I like. I don't know that much, but yeah.
What do you like? You're wearing a Submariner right now?
I am.
What year is that?
It's a 86.
86? Where'd you get it?
So it's a longer story, but I think people that listen like watches, so I'll tell it. So my great grandfather passed away and had like a really what my father found to be a gaudy gold Rolex. And he's like, I'm never gonna wear this. So we sell leather for watch bands. So we've got one guy who, in addition to making watch bands, he goes to watch shows and he buys and sells watches.
Yeah.
So he gave the gold Rolex to this. He's a friend, but he's a customer, and he turned the one gold Rolex into two stainless subs, and he gave one to me and one to my sister.
Wow. So, to your sister? Mm-hmm. Oh, she's got a sub too?
She's got it's a not quite as old.
Yeah.
But identical watch.
That's cool. Yeah, she wears a sub.
So she's got one too. So that's a nice. I mean, it's
and now you got a shell Cordovan band on it.
I do.
I love it. How old's that band? Because it looks new.
It's not that new. 6 months maybe.
Oh yeah, I got ya. Yeah, you like the band over the stainless?
I sort of go back and forth. It just kind of depends.
Yeah. What's your favorite watch?
I mean, I have a Panerai that my wife gave me as a wedding present.
Oh yeah.
So I like that for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And that's it's like a radio mirror black seal sort of base.
Oh yeah.
Stainless.
Oh, that's cool.
Super comfortable.
Does it got
watch.
the pig on it or is it after pig?
No pig.
Yeah.
But mechanical, so it's thinner, and I like the routine of winding a watch in the morning when I wear it. So that's another. So those are my two watches. I definitely have aspirations that are way outside my pocketbook.
Yeah.
I would love the Panerais with the Rolex movement in them.
Oh yeah, of course, like the 203 and stuff like that.
Those.
Like J.J. Abrams has that.
Yeah, I mean those are unreal. But
this is just dumb.
I mean, there's like 100 of them or something. So I can look at it. I can look at pictures on the internet. That's about it. But
and you're a comedy guy?
From a distance, I love stand up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to go. I lived in New York City for a while, and I used to go a lot then. But I haven't been in a while. But I watch all the specials and listen to as many of the podcasts as I can, and I need it.
Yeah. I hear you.
It's a release.
I hear you.
Yeah, and I'm not so PC, so it all resonates with me. Pretty well. But
I think Chicago is such a comedy city, so I get it. Well, thank you for having me today, man. What a great tour you gave me, and give them your Instagram.
It's just at Horween Leather.
Yeah, spell it.
HORWEENLEATHER, and then the website, which will take you everywhere, is just horween.com. It's HORWEEN, and that's got there's a little shop link in there, which has sort of specialty stuff on there, which is always almost sold out because I can't keep up with it. But there's stuff there, and then links to Instagram, and if you have questions about leather stuff, there's a contact page, and you can read about our stuff and find our agents if you're not around here and want to buy stuff or whatever else.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, thank you. Come back again.
Oh God, what a great day. Oh, by the way, whose boots are all these in here?
Those are mine.
Those are all yours?
I don't have enough room at home.
Whoa!
So I have to rotate my inventory at home and.
Holy smokes! I thought I had a boot addiction, dude. Now, who made all those boots?
So there's a combination in there. There's a bunch of Vibergs, Aldens. There's a pair of Enzo Bonifay's. There's some Visibims.
What about the top black heel to toe or the lace to toe?
That's a new customer, and I should know their name, and I don't.
Wow.
They sent me those because they wanted me to take pictures of them in the factory.
What about the bottom left? Who made that?
Those are Vibergs.
Those are cool.
That's Bison. That's Bison in its natural form.
Viberg's in Canada?
In Victoria, yep.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Man, those are... Yeah, I mean, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12. So, dude, you got like 20 pairs of boots sitting here.
Yeah, and there's some Carmina and Crockett and Jones and some old Chippewas, and I got more in the locker room and more at home.
You're worse than me. I love it.
Well, because like we talked about a little bit. Like I like boots that kind of like are marked up or have like an imperfection in them.
Yeah.
So I'm always emailing our customers, probably bothering them and saying like, if you got like something that's got like a cut across the toe or
send
whatever,
them to me. Yeah.
Like I'll buy them.
Yeah.
Like just so I get boots. I sort of slowly accumulate stuff.
God.
These boxes have boots in them too.
Holy shit! Look at that. What's your favorite boots?
Jeez.
You got any Brian the Bootmakers yet?
I don't.
You got to get on those.
I should talk to him.
And you got any Wescos?
They're sending me a measurement kit.
Oh yeah.
Because they just made a pair of boots that
Yeah, you got to get those in your stable.
Yeah, I have a pair. Vibram they fit me really well.
Yeah.
I have a pair of, and they're not here, but they're flesh out Chrome XL, so they're suede.
Oh shit!
But they're unlined, so they're crazy comfortable.
Isn't that called Rough Out?
Yep.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so that's what we call marine field shoe. That's if you go on Vibram's website, that's what they call the Boondocker.
Yeah.
Those are great.
Well, thanks for having me, Dan.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Visit their Instagram and kind of nerd out on it. And thanks for tuning in, everybody, and listening to another Handmade episode. It's an honor to have the Horween Factory on the show here, and I hope you guys dug it. Thank you, and keep the candles lit. Don't forget about the Patreon channel, Dean Del Rey, for bonus episodes, and also check out cbdlion.com. Use the code DEAN for some CBD deals. You CBD oil at all?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, do you under your tongue or your hands, or what's going on?
I do.
I use the topical on my neck right now.
I do some of the topical stuff because I did some of one of my ab areas.
Yeah,
and then some the under the tongue stuff for anxiety sometimes.
Yeah, it works so great for anxiety and sleep. CBD Lion, the best, clean, organic, no garbage in it, and no THC. So don't worry about getting piss tested. You guys piss test here?
Not really, not unless you hurt yourself. But 2020 is legal in Illinois. So
it's gonna be legal?
Yeah.
Oh, right on. Oh, awesome. All right, yeah. All right, cbdlion.com. Use the code DEAN for 20% off everything. Thank you, guys. See ya.